Hi, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And today I made this live stream because I will interview. I'm sorry, I will interview David Jack, an expat Black American who has retired here in the Philippines and she is married with a Filipina woman for almost 40 years. That he is not yet connected. So um, I would like to say, or I would like to discuss about all of my subscribers who made a comments, or to all the people who made a comments in Carmelita, my interview with Carmelita on that video. Thank you for your comments and your message. And if you would like to give her some information that she can claim, she is the claimer of some benefits from her American husband. You can comment again in the comment section on that video and put your email address so that she can read it, and she can contact you, or you can have exchange um message so that you can give her an advice, or she will have an idea what she will gonna do. Okay, because I know that the processing of some documents, it's depend if that person has a knowledge to process it, because there is a long procedure for that, like what I had what I experienced. Okay. And yeah, but since wait, okay, since he's not yet connected, if you have some question on me, you can write it in the comment section below on this live stream. Okay. And but first is I'm gonna, because the situation of Carmelita is not so very easy, because she quit her job before just for to take care of her husband and her child. So yeah. Wait, I think it's him who contact me. Wait, I'm gonna try to call him. Excuse me. Because I receive a call and I don't know the number, and me, I don't take a call if just only a number appear. Yes, because I am so just so I mean, I don't the reason why I don't answer if it's just only a number, because there are some scammers now. They try to call your number, and if they heard that number is so active, and if you take the call, so they think that, oh, this number is active, so they're gonna use your number for scam people, like texting to people, or sending message that because there are some scammer now here. And actually I received an email, two different emails, but I'm sure that it's a scammer, because it's written here. It's written here, okay? They in the video it said that in the I mean sorry, because Laura is staring on the door. So in the email they said that they have a their father passed away, and then they have a very big amounts in their bank accounts, like for example 10 million, and then um there's so much blah 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 or something. So yeah, and I know that that email is scammer. Okay, and I received two scam email, and I screenshot that, and I know the because the name written here is Julema Wendy, and it's written on this email is like, I am very sorry for invading your privacy without permission from you. I found your info after seriously searching for a reliable personality. I'm Julema Wendy, born on May 23, 1994 in Freetown, blah, 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 blah. I'm currently living and Porto Novo Venenra. And then and the last is, during my war, my late father made me a lot of money through the sales diamond to the tune of 10 million US dollars. So I know that this is a scam because no no person tell how much money they get. Okay. Okay, yeah, I see it's him. Okay, wait. How to wait, how to create StreamYards. Wait, because I need to. Yeah, it's him who tried to call me and he texts me now. Okay, wait. I'm gonna copy paste the link right here. That's why I don't take mostly calls. Um, if there is no, if it's not saved on my contacts details because of the how you call that, because of the scammer. Okay, I don't know where is that link. God. Okay, first I'm gonna read this message or comments. Doubtful Genius. Hello everyone. Hello. Thank you for coming. Charles Coleman. Good afternoon, Sharon and yes. How is everyone this afternoon? Everyone is going well, Charles, and actually I took a rest today because I've been in the massage last night with Laura and I have the aromatherapy massage. So it's a new one. They put some compress it's not, it's different on the hot stone massage, but the aromatherapy is much more nicer because you feel relaxed after. And Trammel 907. Hello, hello. Good morning in US because we have 8 hours. Yeah, 8 hours different, I think. 8 hours. Our Philippines journey. Good afternoon, Sharon. Hi, sir. Good afternoon. A phone call, text scam are rampant in the Philippines. Yeah, that's why um I don't answer the phone if it's just only a number, because I I experienced that several times, that there is somebody called me, I receive a call, and then when I answer, they just drop off the call. And one of my cousin, they said that next time don't answer it, because scammer do that for to check if that number is active, because my cousin is information technology in St. Peter, so he is IT. Okay. Our Philippine, wait, I'm gonna wait. Oh my god. Okay, wait. So yeah. Hey, Canadian Dan. Hi, Sharon. Love your content. Thank you. BGV. Hello, Sharon. I was on my way to bed and I saw your pretty face, and I want to say hello and thumbs up to your channel. Hi, Nate. I think this is Nate. I think. And you changed your name, right? But I think you are Nate before. Okay, so thank you so much for dropping by. I appreciate that. Mhm. Okay. Arcus, hey Sharon, I'm here. Hey, yeah, I think we are all getting scam calls, texts, etc. Yeah, and before I receive also some calls, or I receive also some texts that um to somebody that hey, I just want to send you some yeah, message on Facebook. Okay, I just have something to send to you, and then I put expensive things in the box, and then you need to claim this, blah blah blah. So me, I know that kind of trick. So I said, really? How do you put the amount of that, and how do you put a diamond or expensive necklace, expensive things, to put it in the box and transfer it from the Philippines? And you are not allowed that, because the custom must check of it, right? And the customers check on it, and before the forwarder take your box, you need to fill some form, what is inside the box, what do you put inside the box. So after that, I said, really? And do you think I believe you, because that's a trick? And after that, perhaps he knew that it will not works on me, so he blocked me. And then after also a second time, there is also a guy message me. um Wait, And there was also another guy. He messaged me. He said to me, if you would like to come here, if you would like to come to Dubai, I can make you. You can come over here because I am a business manager in like that online business something. I can teach it to you. And then I said, do you think I believe it? And after that, he blocked me. So if he blocked me, it means that he is a scammer. Okay, because I don't I don't believe in I don't believe very quick on that because I had yeah, and I am not the same way of the Filipina thinking that they believe if they receive message or something. Because if I continue to contact to that person, they will tell to me, okay, there will be somebody will call you and you need to fill up the custom form so that the custom will release your bags or something. You need to pay this, you need to pay that. I said, no, that's a scam. Yeah, so yeah, I see it. It's you are Nate before. Okay, and thank you, Nate. Yeah, and here in the Philippines, summer is waving. So next month it will be or end of March, the summer is start because the Holy Week here is March 28, 29, and 31. And I just want to tell to you that I think on March 29, Friday, all the malls are closed. Okay. Okay, and he's here. Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon, Sharon. I'm
Okay.
terribly sorry about the mix up, but I don't know what happened, but here I am.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay because you are here now. So, yeah, and welcome to my channel and thank you for allowing me to interview you. And how are you today?
I feel quite well, thank you, and I hope you're
Oh,
feeling the same.
okay. Okay. And what city you are living now here in the Philippines, sir?
I live in the city of Chaton,
Okay.
and that's in Negros Oriental.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So, sir, please provide viewers any personal background or bio information to yourself and that you feel appropriate and comfortable.
I'm sorry, you kind of broke up there. You said you want me to provide some
Okay.
personal information.
Personal information. I mean, personal background on you. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, your picture is frozen right now,
Okay. I mean,
and your voice has
personal
gone out.
background. Hello, hello, hello. Sir, personal background.
Oh, personal background. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and
Mm,
I've been in the Philippines now almost 15 years. And I moved here in about 2009. I lived in
mm,
Boracay for about 12 years.
okay.
And after about, I'd say, after about 8 or 9 years, I got married.
Mm,
And my wife, her family is from Dumaguete, so we moved not very far from there, where we live now. And
okay.
yeah, so that's kind of how I wound up here. Back in the
Mm,
States, I did a variety of things. I was a vice president at one time in a executive search firm called Management
mm,
Recruiters International. And I was also a counselor at a college. And I also did male female relationships counseling.
mm,
Um,
okay.
for couples and individuals.
Mm, okay. And do you own a land or a house, or you are renting for accommodation? And what's your location?
Well, I own
Mm.
land and also a structure in that property, and I also rent.
Okay. And how long you been married, sir? If you don't mind.
5 years.
Okay. And do you have a child?
Well, we are adopting, but we
Mm.
have 3 kids, of which
Okay.
one we'll be adopting.
Okay. Sir, do you consider Philippines is your home, or if so, why or why not?
Yes, I do consider the Philippines my home.
Mm.
Um, I kind of, how can I put it? Uh, though I still have a connection there because I have family
Mm.
there, I kind of gave up on the United States as being my home. And I've chosen Philippines as my permanent home because of the conditions, and mostly because of the people.
Okay.
But actually, I'd say mostly because of my wife. Because
Mm.
actually, just before I met her, I had, uh, up until that time, been hoping to meet someone to connect with and establish a permanent relationship with, and I
Okay.
didn't have any luck. And so, about 3 months before I was about to leave the Philippines for good, and I was going to move to Africa, where I had visited a number of times,
Mm.
um, I met her. And after that, I changed my mind and decided to have a relationship with her. And we got married
Okay.
about a year later, a little less than a year later. And here I am.
Okay. Can you please provide four factors or criteria you deem mandatory for a successful marriage or relationship here in the Philippines?
Well, one is four criterion, I would
Mm.
say, would be honesty,
Okay.
um, uh, emotional security,
Mm.
um, flexibility, meaning emotional flexibility,
Okay. Mm.
uh, and trustworthiness.
Mm.
Oh, and
Okay.
well, I can honesty and trustworthiness kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so I'll say respect. Did you get that one?
Yeah,
Mutual
yeah, yeah.
respect.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like what they said, honesty is the best policy.
Well, your voice is kind of breaking up.
Yeah, like what they said here, Sir. Like what other people saying that honesty is the best policy.
Yes, indeed. Yes, it is. Unfortunately, even people that say honesty is the best
Mm.
policy, they don't always mean that. Because
Yeah.
what most people, and this is not just true in the Philippines, it's true in the United States,
Mm.
everyone says they want everyone to be honest, but what they really mean is they want to hear honesty about things they want to hear,
Yeah.
but things they don't want to hear, they don't want you to be honest.
Mm. Yes. They lie.
So what I found, for example, what I found among American women as well as Filipino women is
Mm.
they like they say they want you to be honest, but they would rather hear pretty lies than ugly
Mm.
truths.
Exactly.
And very often when you are honest and you tell them a truth they don't like,
Mm.
they punish you. They get mad at you.
Yeah.
And fortunately, my wife is not at all like that. So that's one of the
Mm,
reasons that I married her.
okay. Sir, in your opinion, many foreigners help their spouse or girlfriend family or siblings financially. In some cases, even building them a home. Have you participated or supported family or siblings and it is ongoing or complete?
Well, I help out with her family, but not like many Filipinas expect. Like you talk about
Mm,
building a house and stuff like that. But you see, one of the things that I've found is that when people make responsible decisions,
mm,
they generally don't need as much help as people who make irresponsible decisions.
yeah.
So, for example, uh, say a relative is driving their motorbike while drunk
Mm,
and they have a bad accident and they don't have full health.
mm,
So they want you to cover their full medical expenses. Well, first of all, they should have had full health
yeah.
because when I first moved here, it was only 100 pesos per month. And I was shocked at the number of Filipinos that approached me about helping a relative with their medical expenses, but that relative did not have full health. And full health
Mm,
was the cost of maybe two Red Horse beers in the bar. Now they'll go out and buy two Red Horse beers in the bar,
yeah.
but they won't buy full health to take care of themselves in the case of an accident. Well, people
Yeah.
like that, as soon as they would tell me that they didn't have full health, I said, well, we don't have any more to discuss because if they care less about their health,
Mm,
how can I possibly care more about their health than they do?
yeah.
You know? And so also, as far as helping the family, building houses, stuff like that, I don't mind helping out people, but
Mm,
I believe in the philosophy, as a very age-old philosophy, God helps those who help themselves.
mm,
And I figure if that's good enough for God, it's got to be good enough for me.
yeah.
So if I found that there's a family that they gamble a lot, the men and possibly the women drink a lot,
Mm,
and they're spending their money on nonsense,
yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
I'm gonna come along and build a house for them?
Mm,
No, I don't think so.
yeah.
And so my wife has a sister that lives outside the country. She helps the family mostly. But I told my wife when we first got married, uh, I am here to help you. I'll
Mm,
help because, for example, the kids that we have living with us, they're family members of hers.
mhm,
I wanted to adopt kids from an orphanage, but she asked me if we could adopt kids from her family. I said, okay, we could do that. And we did that. And
yeah.
um, and so that's just one way of helping the family. And then also we help the mother and father, but not a lot. I mean, we don't on a regular basis, but
Mm,
not a lot of money, but enough to uh, supplement what the sister is sending. But I told my wife, I said, I'm marrying you. I'm not marrying your family. And
okay.
if the family needs help, I said, we can help out, but I'm not here to support someone's family.
Mm,
And
yeah.
that was one of the reasons that I had problems meeting Filipinas in the past because I would meet a Filipina and we would exchange phone numbers and I'd go
Mm,
home and 15 minutes after I got home, she's contacting me saying, will you support my family?
okay.
And I don't even know anything about her, you know? And so I for example, I didn't marry for sex. I
Mm,
married for love. In the same regard, my mate, I would hope would marry me for love and marry
mm,
me for me, not
yeah.
because I look like an ATM machine, you
Mm,
know? And
exactly.
so what I find is that people that marry women that marry you for money, if another source of money comes along and that source of money has more money than you,
Yeah.
she's history.
Okay.
And things have
But
worked out pretty well with my wife and her family. I love them,
uh,
they love me.
yeah. Okay, sir. Before I'm gonna proceed, I want to say hi, Puts and Boots. Hi, thank you for coming. Okay, and yes, sir, you are right because there are some Filipino people. If you give every time, they think that okay, anytime we ask help, they are always there. So
Absolutely.
instead of they are saving their money, it's just like they are spending to another things, and then we don't care because anytime we borrow money to them, they'll always be there. So yeah, I also experienced that
And what I
because the
found
more
also,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the more you give, the more they receive.
Absolutely, the more they want, and
Yeah,
it's never enough. It's never enough.
yeah,
And
exactly.
the word borrow here
Yeah.
has a very different meaning
Mm,
than other places that I've been in, like the United States.
mm,
The word borrow here means when someone says, "Can I borrow some money from you?" If you translate that, it means, "Can I take some money from you and you're never going to see it again? You could have flushed it down the toilet and you'd have better chances of getting it back than you will getting it back from me." So,
yeah.
and I've loaned money out. I mean, I've loaned uh in general, I have loaned out smaller amounts, but I loaned out one large amount to someone who I considered a friend,
Yeah.
and she paid back about a third of it. But after
Mm,
that, I haven't seen anything for 5 years, and so, and I knew this person for like 6, 7 years,
mm,
I thought that, and they swore up and down, "Oh, I'm going to pay you," and blah 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 blah, and
yeah.
that taught me a very valuable lesson. And I
Yeah.
also, I will tell you also, I had so many people try to pull scams on me. Like they
Mm,
had a sick aunt or a sick mother or a sick father, or
yeah.
they had children in school that needed tuition paid. And so in the beginning, in the very beginning, there was a family. I was told the house burned down. They had a carinderia. They lost the business, and
Mm,
I was asked for one lump sum of money, and it wasn't a loan, it was a gift. So I made this
mm,
gift. So that's all I was asked for until a little while later, like you say, give a little, ask for more. That's what happens. And so sure
yeah.
enough, I was told after that, oh, well, the girls, that they have girls that are in school and they can't pay the tuition. So the lump sum of money that I had given, they're now
Mm,
asking me to give every month indefinitely.
yeah.
And so I began to ask people questions like, um, so what's the name of the school that your kids are attending that you want me to pay the tuition for? Oh, okay. And what's their major? And they'd say, well, why do you want to know this? I said, well, if I'm going to be giving money for
Mm,
somebody's tuition, I'd
yeah.
like to know something about them. And so then finally I would say, okay, can you ask your children, the students, to get the name of the person that collects the tuition and their phone number, and have them give that information to you and you give it to me, and I'm going to
Mm,
contact the school directly. After that, I don't hear from them anymore.
okay.
Same with hospitals. I'll call I say, give me the
Yeah.
name of the doctor, give me the hospital,
Mm,
give me the phone number. After that, I don't hear anything anymore. So I know it was a
yes.
scam.
Yeah. And I'm gonna read this comment of Puts on Boots. Haha, borrowing is also how sari-sari store work. Everything is an utang. Yeah, Puts on Boots. You are right. And sir, here, I also have a cousin. We have a family relatives who borrow money on him. And then after, when he asked it back, they said they have so much reason. So they are so much reason why they cannot pay it back, or
Right,
sometimes they will, oh sorry, we forget and we will buy you or something, and after we don't hear anything from them, so we
right,
explain to them, borrow and give me, it's different. If you borrow, you need to pay it back. Better that you
exactly.
tell, if you don't have any plan to pay it back, so better that you ask, can you give me money, than to say borrow, right? Because
Yeah,
borrow
exactly,
and give me is different.
exactly.
Mm,
Yeah, basically, when they say borrow, and I hate to say this, but in most instances, they have no intention of paying it
Mm.
back. And what they're doing is lying. And if they're taking
Yes.
your money under false pretenses, then it's more than lying, it's stealing.
Mm.
And so, but unless you have a formal contract, you have no way of
Yes.
getting that money back.
Yeah.
And a lot of Filipinos believe in karma, and but they say they believe in it, but they still do negative things, bringing on themselves negative karma.
Yes.
And they
Mm.
wonder, why are all these bad things always happening to me? Well, it's
Yeah.
happening to you because you've done so many bad things,
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
Yeah. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Hello. Where are you? What's
I think
going
your picture's
on?
frozen.
Yeah. I think the connection is very weak. Okay, William Pop. Hi Sharon, what's going on? It's going well, and hello Juan. Thank you for watching. Hello, hello, hello. Are you there, sir? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
back.
here. Boots on boots. Karma is real. Yeah, I know. I also believe in karma. Karma is real, and karma now is digital because sometimes it happened it right away, right? But there is karma boots on boots, but it will take time before it will arrive. Mhm.
I mean, it can happen tomorrow or it can happen
Yeah.
10 years from now. You never
Yes.
know when it's going to hit.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. And here there's a comment
And,
here. Matipid na lang.
me,
Mm.
I'm not a perfect human being. I'm sure I have
Okay.
done some wrong things in the past.
Mm.
And sometimes things happen to me. And when they do, negative things, when they do
Yeah.
happen, I say to myself, ah, there's my karma because of what I
Yeah.
might have done 10 years ago, 15 years
Mm.
ago. But what I find is important. It's important to create positive karma. And people say to me that I have had a very blessed life, and I have. I
Mm.
mean, I had a lot of struggle in my life, but in the end, especially in the last 15 years, I have had a lot of blessings. I've been able to travel the world,
Mm.
go to more than 50 countries. Um, I've met some really wonderful people. Um, and people say to me, wow, you're so blessed. And I say, well, uh, I'm blessed because I do my best to bless others. So what I have
Mm.
done, what I did for a number of years, almost 12 years,
Yeah.
no, actually about 13, yeah, about 12 years, um, is that the first year I moved here, I began doing giveaways in my
Mm.
barangay. And I first started with a toy giveaway on Christmas,
Mm.
and some Filipino friends came to the giveaway, and I said, bring some toys, and so they came with school supplies. So I said to
Okay.
them, oh, by the way, this is supposed to be for toys, and they said, well, Sir David, uh, I'm sure the kids love toys, but they need school supplies more because if they don't
Mm.
have school supplies, they can't go to school. And I was surprised at this because I was told that every child could go to school in the Philippines and school was free. But I
Yeah.
didn't realize that if they didn't have pencils and pens and notebooks and stuff like that,
Mm.
they wouldn't be allowed to come to school, which kind of
Yeah.
shocked me. So from that point on, for the next about 11 years, I did school supply giveaways. I started first with 250 kids and
Mm.
different grade from K through 12, and using my own finances. And for about 8 years, I continued using my own every semester, every half year.
Mm.
I would
Yeah, yeah.
give the kids all the schools. As I went from 250 to 350 kids, and then some. I was doing some relief supply giveaways after Typhoon Haiyan, and
Okay, yeah.
I met a yeah, and I met some Swiss people who saw what I was uh, doing relief supply giveaways using my own money, and
Mm.
they were bringing money in from Switzerland. So they asked if they could support me in my school supply giveaways. So I was able to
Okay.
increase it to 500 kids, And so 500 kids every semester would get school supplies, everything they needed for the entire semester,
Mm.
including
Yeah.
sometimes backpacks.
Okay.
And so people would say to me, why do you do this, Sir David? Because on the flyers, I put flyers around the barangay, say, come to this location,
Mm.
bring school ID, and blah, 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 blah. And people would say to me, Sir David, you don't put your name on the flyer. I said, nah, I don't need to put my name there.
Yes.
They said, well, how will people know who's giving away all this stuff? I said, well, the thing is, they don't really need to know that I'm giving them this stuff. I said, what they
Mm.
really need to know is that stuff is being given.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they can just think that God is doing it,
Yeah.
because I'm just doing it. I'm just a servant. I'm nothing but a servant. And my ability to give was because of God. If it wasn't for
Mm.
God, I would not have the resources to be able to do that. So that's how I build my positive karma. And hopefully
Mm.
it sticks, and, you know, God will
Yeah, okay.
shine some light on me. Oh, God always
Mm.
shines light on me. I'm just repaying God
Yes.
for all the good that He's done for me.
Yes, and like what people Filipinos said, sir, here that life is just like the tire. So some people must be on the high
I'm sorry, your
and
voice is
going
kind of
down,
distorted.
yeah, turning. Mm.
Can you repeat what you just said? Because your voice was distorted.
Okay, some Filipino people saying here that the life is just like a tire of a car. It's turning. So there are some people
Yes.
which who is on the high place, they will come down, and then the poor people will become raised. So it's just turning.
Well, I would like to think that, but sadly, in the Philippines, just as in the United States,
Mm.
there are high people that do bad things, and we never really get to see them be brought low. So
Mm.
it's going to have to happen in another plane of existence, meaning in an
Yeah.
afterlife or another life, if
Mm.
there's reincarnation or something like that. But I say to people that if you because a lot of people, when I talk to them about being uh, generous with others,
Mm.
showing caring to others, a lot of Filipinos will say to me, well, I'm poor, I can't do anything for anyone, I'm just trying to survive. And I say to
Yeah.
them, being good to others does not always require money.
Mm.
In fact, there are many things you can do that have nothing to do with money. Like, say, for
Yeah.
example, there's an elderly person that lives next door to you, and let's say they're kind of disabled, and you see around their house it's kind of messy. Well, go
Mm.
over and offer to straighten up, clean up their house, or sweep in front of their house. Wash their clothes.
Mm.
What does that cost you? Just a little bit of time. There's all kinds of things. Just walking down the street, just smiling at someone. Someone's looking like they're having a bad day, and just saying to them,
Yeah.
oh, you look very nice today, or something like that. These are little things that can mean a lot to someone.
Mm.
And also, don't always focus on just helping your family, because that,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a Christian, and most Filipinos consider themselves Christian, uh, well, the word Christian literally translated means Christ-like, to be
Yeah.
Christ-like or like Christ. Well, Christ didn't just help his family; he helped many, many, many strangers. So if you're going to be like Christ, then
Mm.
I would suggest you do the same. Help your family, but also be kind to strangers.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read this. Okay, Pecan Girl, thank you for the super chat. Keep up the effort and success, Sharon. There will always be a fool and devil on every episode. Yeah, I know, and it's okay because we cannot change their attitude. So better that it's us who change how to treat them and how to handle them. And also this one. Hi, Karen. 50 Shades Darker in the Philippines. Locking from Las Vegas. Thank you. And sir, in your opinion, one of the popular ex-blogger state here in the Philippines that he feels safe in the Philippines but not protected. Do you feel safe and not protected or safe and protected here in the Philippines?
I couldn't understand a word you just said because your voice was breaking up a lot. Can you repeat it?
Okay. Okay, in your opinion, what you can say, there is one popular ex-blogger state that he feels safe in the Philippines but not protected. Do you feel safe and not protected or safe and protected?
Well, it depends on what you mean, how you define being safe and how you
Mm,
define being protected. Uh,
yeah.
I feel I feel relatively safe, meaning
Mm,
compared to, say, if I were living in New York City, I feel safer
yeah.
here than when I'm in New York City. But there are certain places in the Philippines, like Manila or Cebu City, where
Mm,
I don't necessarily feel very safe. As far as feeling protected, as a foreigner, um, I would say that I don't really feel protected.
mm,
Um, I feel that I have to provide my own protection in whatever way that I can.
okay.
Like, for example, protection, when people think of protection, they think of, say, the police. The police will protect me if I'm in trouble.
Mm,
Well, I've seen Filipinos, and I myself have called the police,
okay.
and either no one answers the phone, or if they do, they say, come to the station. Well,
Mm,
what if I'm in trouble right now at my home? How am I going to come to the station to be protected? So I'm sure, and I've known a lot of police officers here, and they're wonderful human beings.
okay.
I think in Boracay, I thought I knew a number of police officers, many police officers, and they were wonderful people. And I had some interactions with them, helping them out with different situations.
Mm,
One of my very good friends, in fact, Facebook page as a police officer, and Rumblon. And
okay.
um, and the thing is that she's an incredible public servant, and in her case, I think that she does provide protection to her community.
Mm,
I think it's different from one place to another. But as far as I'm concerned, do I feel protected? Um, uh, Only by myself,
okay.
protected by me.
Okay. And sir, since you are married with a Filipina for almost, I mean, for 5 years, do you have your permanent residency now?
Yes, I do.
Ah, okay, good. And have you ever tried to drive a car here? And how do you handle the tampo of your wife? The
The
tampo of
temper?
Filipina woman, tampo or upset.
Well, to be honest with you, my wife does not have the temper of your average Filipino woman. And
Ah,
that's one of the
okay.
reasons that I married her. Because
Mm,
honestly, I think that Filipinas, many, not all Filipinas, but many Filipinas,
yeah.
use this reputation of
Mm,
having a big temper or being
tampo, yeah.
insanely
Mm,
jealous. They use it as an excuse to
mm,
act inappropriately. I've only had one other Filipina girlfriend. That's when I first moved here, and she was insanely jealous, and she was
mm,
dishonest. And she, I mean, I couldn't get a text without her going crazy and asking, who is it? Is it male or female? What's
mm,
her name? And then if I gave her a name and we'd go out, and I told her that person no longer lived in Boracay,
okay.
when we would go out, we'd be in a club, and she'd be pointing at different women, saying, "Is that her? Is that her? Is that her?" So, and when I talk to Filipinas about this temper, I say to them, you may think that that's attractive to a man, but I've heard countless stories of Filipino men who have ran away
Mm,
from their Filipina wife or girlfriend.
okay.
And I say to these Filipinas, your jealousy, or you think represents love, and it
Mm,
doesn't. It represents emotional insecurity, which to anyone who is emotionally secure,
Okay.
That is very uncomfortable to be with a person who
Mhm.
is emotionally insecure. It's torture, in fact. It's a pain.
Okay.
And I don't care how many children you have together with that man, if you continue to act like you're insane or insanely jealous, and
Mm.
you say it's our culture, no, no, it's your choice.
Mm.
And one of the reasons that I married my wife, when I first met her, the very first time I met her in a club. Her and her cousin they had a small business, and every time they'd get off from work, they'd
Mhm.
go to this place to go dancing just to unwind.
Okay.
And I invited her to have a bite to eat after they left the club. And so the first thing that impressed me about her was that she took me to the cheapest place possible. Now, I've met Filipinos for the first time and they want to take me to the most expensive place possible.
Mm.
And they want to order a whole bunch of stuff and not even eat it. My wife ordered
Mm.
something very simple. And what was really funny was her honesty. That very first time I met her, um,
Okay.
she all of a sudden said to me, and this is going to be kind of funny. She
Mm.
said to me, your breath smells. And I started laughing. I mean, I started
Mm.
laughing. I mean, I was laughing like she said the funniest thing in the world. She said she started
Okay.
apologizing. And I said, no, no, no need to apologize. She says, well, why are you laughing? I said, because that's the most honesty I've ever gotten from a woman that I just
Mm.
met. And so from that point on, I found out that she was the most honest person I'd ever met. She is incredibly honest, but she had the best temperament. I mean, her attitude was always peaceful and loving and caring. And if I did something wrong, she was always understanding. And I asked her, I said, would you come to the Boracay and stay
Mm.
with me for a while? I said, because I think I want to marry you, but I believe in living together before getting married.
Okay.
And after living with me for a little while, I said to myself, if I don't marry this woman, I'm crazy. I called my brother in New York City, told him about her. He said, if you don't marry this woman, I'm going to come over there and kick
Mm.
your butt personally. And he
Okay.
was right. I let him do it. But
Okay. But what?
Filipinos need to calm down, tone down
Okay.
that
But
temper because it's not attractive.
okay. Okay, sir, but what about in this situation? Okay, you are in relationship, and then the girl don't know that the man has another woman. He's been
Mhm.
working abroad, and then after you are been in relationship, and then after at the right day or the same day that the Filipino woman arrived to come back on the Philippines, and at the same day he messaged to his girlfriend that we must call off because blah blah blah, we need to break this we need to take a break, and then at the same day the his another girlfriend arrived in the Philippines, and they are now living together, and he still wants to meet his ex girlfriend or something to have a relationship. How do you um how I think jealousy is depend on the reason or it's depend on the situation, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Mhm. Yeah, because they are living together now, but at the same time he wants to have communicate or he wants to meet the girl that he threw away.
Okay, well, um, first of all, I'm a
Mm.
very different kind of person.
Yeah.
Uh, I am what is called a polyamorist, which means
Okay.
that I can love more than one person at the same time.
Mm.
Now, if I met a woman that I really cared for, and by the way, a woman introduced me to that lifestyle in
Mm.
America when I was very
Yeah.
young. I was only 19 years old.
Um.
And up until now, well, actually, it still is. It was the longest relationship I'd ever had. It lasted 7 years. And she could see people that she wanted to see. I could see people that I
Mm.
wanted to see. And we didn't question, when are you coming home? Who were you out with or anything like that?
Mm.
And that's one of the reasons it worked so well. But eventually I got married. Now I was married in the States, got
Mm.
divorced. We only married 2 years. that was a strictly monogamous relationship because that was the understanding from the beginning.
Yeah.
So if a guy wants to do what this guy you just described, if he wants to do
Yes.
that kind of thing, he needs to let the woman know in advance that this is the kind of thing he wants to do.
Mm.
And then she has a choice as to whether she wants to tolerate that kind
Um.
of behavior. But for him to lead her to believe that she's the only one and she's the one and only, and then all of a sudden he finds somebody else and tells her, I don't want you
Mm.
anymore. But then after he's with this new woman, he says to the old woman, by the way, I want to get together with you again. And
Yeah.
he may say, I want to just get together, have a conversation with you. But what he really wants
Mm.
to do is to get together with her and after a conversation, have sex.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that guy's a creep. I say, once a woman finds out, but you see, the problem is that most women, when they have a guy that does something like this, they say, oh, I hate you. I
Mm.
never want to see you again. And then he comes back to her with some sweet words or a nice gift or something like that.
Yeah.
And she takes him back. And she takes him back. And what happens is she gives him a second chance. But there's a famous person in America, famous author in America. She wrote once. She said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them." So
Mm.
if this guy shows you that he's a liar and a cheater, believe him that he's a liar and a cheater. And if you
Mm.
think that giving him a second chance is going to change him, not going to happen. All you're doing is giving him a
Mm.
second chance that he's a liar and a cheater again.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because I've counseled Filipinas here who were physically abused by their husbands, which is a common practice here.
Mm.
This is something
Yeah.
that many men do. Filipinas have this bad temper. Filipino men have a bad temper where they hit their women.
Yeah.
And and by the way, I'm not saying this is just unique to the Philippines. There's tons of American men that do the same thing. And there was a woman who worked for me. She was a fitness partner. We
Mm.
would meet and exercise together. And so one day she comes to the house and she's upset and she's got a mark on her face and I say, what happened? And she tells me about how her boyfriend abuses her and he grabs her by the hair and drags her across the room and does all these terrible things to her. So I said, oh my
Mm.
God. So she asked me, and I had a staff that had a house in the back of my house. She says, can I stay here tonight? I said, well, I'll tell you what, you can stay with Desiree and her husband,
Yeah.
and then in the morning we can talk about it some more. I said,
Mm.
but this guy sounds terrible. You don't need to go back to this guy. If you want to go back and get your stuff, you can come here, move in with me, and we can talk about it some more. And she said, well,
Lolo.
the next morning, I went down to
Yeah.
the staff's house and I said to them,
Mm.
where is she? And they said, oh, she went home. I said, she went home? Yeah. And basically what she did, she took him back. And she did this
Mm.
2 or 3 times. And every time she'd come to me and come to my staff with these sob stories. And finally I said to her, I said, listen, don't come back here again with one of your stories
Mm.
because you want us to feel sorry for you. You give us all this drama and then you go right back to it again. If
Yeah.
you want my sympathy, you got to show me good sense. And you're not showing good sense
Mm.
by going back to a guy like that.
Yeah.
And so I tell Filipinas, once a guy hits you, in fact, if he verbally abuses you, that's usually going to eventually lead to physical abuse.
Mm.
And the first time he hits you, don't give him a second chance to do it again.
Yeah.
And if you do give him a second chance, definitely don't give him a third chance because the first time you're the victim. The second time you're an accomplice, meaning you assisted in your victimization.
Yes, sir. And like what they said also that if that person doesn't give worth to that woman, so maybe that woman has worth it to other person.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm.
And you know something, very often these abusers, they tear down the
Mm.
woman's sense of self-worth. They tell her, you're never going
Okay.
to find another person like me. You're never going to find anybody that's going to take care of you like me. And
Mm.
if the woman doesn't have great self-confidence, if she doesn't have good self-esteem, she accepts that nonsense. And
Yeah.
she doesn't leave him because she's thinking, well, if I go to somebody else, they may treat me worse than him.
Mm.
Well, the problem is he's treating you worse every day.
Mm.
So go out and find, and if you meet somebody else, and very often women like that go to another guy just like that. But
Mm.
those women need to begin to develop a sense of self-worth by believing in
Yeah.
themselves. You know,
Okay.
if
Yeah.
if you don't believe in you, others are not going to believe in you.
Mm.
So start believing in yourself. And and when you meet a guy and he wants to go to bed with you the first night that he meets you, and you do that, you've just shown him, I don't really feel I have much self-worth.
Mm.
I'm not worth very much. I didn't make you earn the right to lay down
Okay.
with me, you
Okay.
know?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Okay. Sir, have you made financial arrangement to provide for your family if God forbid you die unexpectedly? Because all of us we will go there, right? If you have,
Yes.
would you like to share it? If not, um, are the arrangement in progress? Hello, 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 hello.
Say that again. I'm sorry. The last part now.
Okay.
Your picture just
If
froze.
you have, would you like to share it, or if not, are the arrangement in progress?
Well, it's in progress. Actually,
Mm,
I have already made arrangements. Like for example, buying the
yeah.
land was first of all the first thing I did to ensure the future of my wife because it's in her name. I mean, both our names are on it, but she's the owner.
Mm,
And I built a structure on it, and some other small, we built some small structures on it. But that's her
okay.
property, so she has that to start with. Also, from the very beginning, I put all of our bank accounts in both our names. So we have joint accounts, and
Okay.
including my account in the States.
Mm,
Um, if something happens to me, she's the beneficiary of that money. Unfortunately, she has to go back there. Well, she doesn't have to go back there and get it. She can still get it over here, but she
mm,
has access to all my assets, so to speak.
okay.
Additionally, we were in the process of well, we wrote wills. We wrote a will,
Mm,
and the thing is, I started telling her about this from the beginning of our relationship, and she doesn't like to talk about it. She says,
okay.
"Oh, uh, I don't want to talk about you dying and stuff like that." I said, "Sweetheart, that's what causes so many problems, both in America
Mm,
and the Philippines. People don't make any preparations." In fact, her own sister had a situation where her husband, the
mm,
sister's husband, uh, well, I'm not going to go into details. I'll just leave that alone. I'll just say
yeah.
that people don't make arrangements. The bank winds up keeping the money.
Yeah.
Um, Money goes to somebody you don't want it to go to. And
Mm,
so right now we're in the process of developing a trust so that if something happens to both of us, because we travel a lot together, uh, that the money will be provided to the children that live with us
okay. Okay, and sir, there
and the
is a
land also.
question. Yeah, there is a question here from Matiped Lolo. Hi, Matiped Lolo. I'm confused. Does the guest have charity for school, a therapy business, a shelter? Anybody know?
No, I
Mm.
have
Okay.
not associated with any formal charitable organization. Uh, for example, I have traveled to other parts of the Philippines
Mm.
and help kids get school supplies. For example, in Negros Occidental
Okay.
and other parts of Aklan. I've gone to Africa, to different countries, and helped orphanages and senior homes and poor villages. And 90% of that, 95% of that money came from my own
Mm.
pocket.
Okay.
I don't believe in donating to charitable organizations. And the reason why I don't believe in donating to charitable organizations is because of the fact that very often when you give money, most of that money does
Okay.
not get to the people you intended to
Mm,
help. For
yeah.
example, after Typhoon Haiyan, people sent tons of donations here to the Philippines. And what happened was many packages and stuff that were labeled for Typhoon
Yeah.
Haiyan victims were in the Manila being sold from stores.
Mm,
So people were
okay.
selling the supplies that were supposed to be donated
Yeah.
to victims, typhoon victims. They were selling the supplies from stores.
Yeah, exactly.
So so I tell people, I say, uh, if you want to give, go to the place that you want to give to, if you can
Mm,
afford it, and
yeah.
out who is in need, find out what they need, and then go to the different suppliers in the area, buy the supplies, and then set up a mechanism where people can come and receive the
Mm,
supplies. In that last big typhoon we had, my wife and I, that was our last big giveaway. We went to the mountains, and
mm,
we went to a small village in the mountains, and people were notified to come to a certain
mm,
place, and they'd receive water and food and all kinds of other stuff, and sanitation, hygiene supplies. And so we handed stuff out. And once we gave to all those families, we still had stuff left over. And so as we were
mm,
driving down the road, people would be on the road, asking for help. And we would just
yeah.
stop and people would come up, line up, and we just give stuff away. But no, I don't have a charity and I don't represent a charity. And
Okay.
so people will call me from time to time, can you help here? Can you help there? And I really don't. Now with the family, especially having three kids, but soon we may have
Mm,
four uh,
yeah.
that are not our children. They're not our children, but we're raising them. Um, we don't really have the resources to give away as much as we used to. But
Okay.
um, but but something that Filipinos don't value, and it's more important than money, is
Mm,
information. And
yes.
sometimes I'll say people come to me about money, and I'll say, well, listen, let me give you some information about this agency that might be able to assist you. Or if you do this, you can get
Mm,
help from there. They don't want to hear it. It's just, you don't have any money for me? No money? And so they don't realize that that information could give them more than the money they're asking from me.
mm,
So I say to Filipinos, learn a, there's a lot of resources in the Philippines that Filipinos don't know about. In
yeah.
fact, when I tell people about stuff, they say, wow, I never knew that. I never knew that. How do you know that? You're from America. How do you? I said, because that if you got off your phone and stop playing games and stop watching
Mm,
videos, dance videos, and stop posting poses and little dances that you do on video and
yes.
TikTok and all that stuff. If you spent more time taking that device, which is more powerful than the most powerful computer in the world 50 years ago, if you
Yes.
would just use that thing for it's got almost all the information in the world, you can find out
Mm,
about it. One quick
yes.
example, I've helped many kids who have cleft lips. Cleft lip?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
when the
yeah, yeah.
child is born with the lip split,
Mm,
and sometimes the
yes.
roof of the mouth is split.
Yeah.
And I was in my first year, I saw a woman holding a child like that. So
Mm,
God spoke to me and said, you can help that woman. And I asked myself, well, I asked God, how can I help her? And God
mm,
said to me, you know how to research. Just get online and you can find a way to help
yeah.
her. So I went and I said to her, listen, I think I can help you. If you give me some contact information, I'll get back to you and see how I can help you. And from that one woman, I was able to find out organizations that provide free surgery to help kids,
Mm,
help a number of kids. I've even traveled to help kids by
okay.
getting them, making sure that that they have access to the assistance, and just that information saved their parents
Mm,
hundreds of thousands, you know money that they could never come up with
yeah.
themselves. When you use when you stop thinking about like money, 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 money,
Mm,
and start thinking else can I get help? You'd be shocked at what is available to you.
Mm. Okay. Okay. And I just want to say hello. Lengzy111. Hi. The truth is, we are all on a self journey out there. Some are done with playing the field, and other have brick walls to run into just because. I think there is a missing on your message. And 50 Shades Darker in the Philippine Sharon assign me and POB as moderator. Okay, let's talk about it later. Okay. And sir, did you visit your home country occasionally or travel here in the Philippines
I'm
with your
sorry, say that
spouse?
again. Say
Do
that
you
again.
visit your do you visit your home country occasionally or travel abroad with your wife or travel here in the
I have
Philippines?
not I have not visited with my wife. Actually,
Mm,
the last time I visited my home was in
mm,
2018, and
okay.
we applied for a visa for my wife while
Mm,
Donald Trump was in office. And
okay.
Donald Trump is not a big fan of brown people,
Mm,
and so his immigration officers. I mean, my wife qualified on every level. Now we weren't married at the time, but we were about to get married,
okay.
and they denied her visa. And it's not cheap to apply for that visa.
Mm,
And but they denied her visa, and since that time we thought about going back. I want to take her back. She doesn't really want to go back
okay.
because she sees all the news reports that I watch
Mm,
on the internet and also on TV, and she's afraid of my country, and with good reason. But but I think her fear is a bit over the top. It's maybe a
mm,
bit exaggerated. But it's a place that can be very dangerous. And I mean, it's a huge country. It's the fifth largest country in the world. But being brown, you there's really no place you can say you're
mm,
really really safe,
okay.
because you could go into one of the safest areas in the country, but if it's a mostly white area and you're brown, it may
Mm,
not be safe for you. You know, so it's our intention to go, but now that we have a family, it's not so easy because it's extremely expensive. Not only
okay.
for the transportation, not only for places to stay, because you won't always be staying with family or friends, but also the visa expense is
Mm,
very expensive. For
okay.
our family, our total visas would be about uh, about 150,000 pesos.
Mm,
For all the visas that I'd have to get for all the kids and my wife. And
mm,
so that and all the other expenses has prevented us from going back. But I'm hoping that the financial resources may make themselves available based on some
mm,
actions of mine,
ah,
some of my activities that will enable us to all go back and take a tour of the country. But I
okay.
really would love to take my wife. I really would.
Mm, okay. What are your retirement sources if you would like to reveal them, such as Social Security, benefit package, or etc.?
Well, I would prefer not to discuss that if you don't mind.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. And sir, do you have like for example, do you have another insurance except the PhilHealth here in the Philippines?
Uh, no, I do not.
Ah, okay.
And
But you
there's a
are
reason for that.
okay.
And the
Okay,
reason
go
for
on.
that is that what I discovered, because when I first moved to the Philippines,
Mm,
I was paying about 25,000
mm,
a month,
okay.
pesos per
Mm,
month for my insurance back in the United States.
okay.
And I found out that it would not cover me here. It would only cover me in the United States.
Mm,
So then I got international insurance, which
okay.
would cover me everywhere except the United States. And I was paying thousands of dollars every year for that insurance. Now
Mm,
I've always been pretty healthy. I've only had one a surgical procedure in my life
Okay.
from an accident, and but other than that, very healthy. So for years, I spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and I
Mm,
was getting nothing for it. So then, as I began to explore medical care in the Philippines, I noticed that if I needed, say, open heart surgery, which I don't need, but let's say I needed
mm,
that. Well, the cost of an open heart surgery procedure is the cost of, say, uh, about one health insurance
okay.
with an international carrier. So I said to myself, well, if that's the case, if I'm paying for 5 years that international
Mm,
carrier and paying all that money, and then I
okay.
need open heart surgery, and they pay for the open heart surgery here in the Philippines,
Mm,
well, 4 out of those 5 years, I just threw that money away. But that one
okay.
year that I paid, okay, will cover the cost of that insurance. So I said to myself, I can take my own resources and use to pay for just about anything, an accident, major
Mm,
surgery for my wife, for me, for our kids, and so on. I say I'd rather keep that money than giving it to an insurance company
mm,
for which we may never have use for, but they still are going to keep the money. Now
okay.
they have these plans here in the Philippines, um, which I think are scams, where they
Mm,
say um, make these payments, and then after so many years, if you haven't used it, you get all this money back.
okay.
And there was a company that we started to sign up with, but then I found out a number of things that they told us were lies.
Mm,
And so immediately within a week, I told them I want our money back, and they didn't want to give our
okay.
money back. And eventually, what happened was I had to kind of force them, kind of trick them into getting the money back for my policy, which was the most expensive.
Mm,
But we didn't get the money back from my wife's insurance. But
okay.
it was a complete, I could tell that this company was a scam. And they were in a
Mm,
shopping malls, and, you
yeah.
know, you see their stickers and health organizations and stuff like that, but they're a scam. So
Mm,
I would recommend to any Filipino that wanted to get health insurance to go through a bank
okay.
and get health insurance through the bank, because these organizations are highly regulated by government agencies that if they cheat you, you can
Mm,
have some kind of assistance from the
mm,
government to protect you
okay.
from being scammed. But these smaller operations, you really don't have much protection.
Mm, okay. So, sir, any closing comments, advice, or recommendation to viewers or question to me? You can ask me questions if you have questions.
Okay, well, let me see if I have a question. Well, first, let me make a few closing statements, but I want to ask you
Mm.
maybe a question or two. Uh, Let me ask you, how long have you been doing this program?
I've been doing vlogging 2 years. Almost 3 years this coming July.
Say that
Yeah, and
again.
I interview this year. I will be 3 years this year. Making vlog, and I do different content like interviewing different people and share their opinion and thoughts while they are here in the Philippines, and if they are protected here, and if they stay here longer. And I interview also different Filipino people. I mean Filipino women, and the Filipino woman who has been in relationship with a foreigner, either white or black, and then what's their what's their thoughts and opinion and perspective that they can share. Mm.
Okay. Do you give advice?
Yeah, yeah. I give them advice also as much as I can, and I give them also advice or share the all the information that I know, and some information that I experienced before, like when my husband passed away last 2020, and then why I claim some benefits from his property, because he registered or he declared me as a wife in their country. So that's why when he passed away, I was one of the heirs and something. So I share some experience, some information that I know, and some of my experience also, and experience also, like giving also advice to them that you must aware this, because if the Filipina has this attitude, based on what I see and based on experience that I saw from my friends, because even they have a Filipino boyfriend, but at the same time they have a foreigner boyfriend, and then they are always asking money to the foreigner, and at the same time they spend the money with their boyfriend going to the
Right,
disco or going out somewhere. So yeah,
right.
I'm just giving that advice because based also on my experience with my friends, because I know some people doing that stuff. So, and me, I want to help some of my subscriber to be in the good hands with Filipino woman, not to be in bad. I want them to have a happily married ever after.
Good for you. Good for you. And by the way, I'm
Yeah.
very sorry about your
Mm.
husband. Was he a Filipino? Oh no,
And
he
no,
was a Filipino
foreigner. Yeah,
foreigner.
foreigner. He's from Belgium.
Oh, Belgium. Okay, good. European. Europeans, I find
Yeah.
generally are better than Americans.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is something I would like to leave with your viewers.
Mm.
I, as I mentioned before, I'm a polyamorous. Okay,
Mm.
that means I can love more than one person at the same time. And my wife knew
Okay.
this before we got married. In fact, before we
Mm.
even became romantically involved, because when we first met, she was engaged
Yeah.
to someone else. But while we were
Okay.
friends, her fiance passed away. And
Mm.
so, but during the time that we were friends, I told her all about me. And one of the things I told her about was being a polyamorous.
Mm.
Now, the difference between a polyamorous and somebody that just wants to sleep around is that a
Okay.
polyamorous treats another relationship just like the primary relationship.
Mm.
Maybe not exactly like it, but they don't get involved with somebody unless there is true love
Yeah.
involved. And the thing is that with my wife, I told her about all this, and I said, and this was before we were in romantic involvement. And
Mm.
then when we started to talk about romantic involvement, I reminded her that that's, basically the kind
Yeah.
of person that I was. And she said she was willing to accept it. But I wanted to stress to her, and I stressed this to other Filipinas. Most Filipinas think that they're in a monogamous relationship with their
Mm.
Filipino man or their foreigner, okay, who's maybe living overseas. They think they're in
Yes.
a monogamous relationship, meaning it's just
Mm.
one and one, just the two of them. But I
Okay.
tell those Filipinas, I say, sadly, dear, you are in a polygamous relationship, a
Mm.
relationship where somebody's involved with more than one person. And the
Yes.
Filipino will say, "Oh no, no, that's not true. That's not true." I say, "No, dear, you are." And let me tell you something. I said, "You're the only one that doesn't know that you're in a polygamous relationship." I said, "Your
Mm.
husband knows it, your boyfriend knows it, but
Yes.
you don't know it." And the thing is that if you did the same thing that he was doing, he would go crazy. If
Mm.
he knew that you were seeing somebody else like he's seeing somebody else, he would
Yes.
be ticked off. I said, and the problem with these men is that they're selfish. That if they want to see somebody else, they should give their wife or girlfriend the same freedom to do the same thing.
Mm.
They
Yeah.
don't want to do that. And so I say the basis of most breakups in America and in the Philippines is infidelity.
Mm.
The guy finds somebody and drops his spouse or girlfriend, or
Mm.
the girlfriend leaves him because he won't leave this person he's seeing on the outside.
Yeah.
I said, all of that would disappear if you just had a relationship where you said, listen, just because my wife says to me, if you're going to do something with somebody, just don't put it in my face. I said, I can respect that.
Mm.
I can respect that. But you know what's interesting? In the 5 years that we've been together, actually 6 years if you include the time we weren't married. In the 6 years we've been together, I've not been with anybody else romantically.
Mm.
I have the freedom to do it. And
Yes.
and when you give a man that kind of freedom and he really loves you, he doesn't have to. And I mean, and it's not to say that he doesn't love if he does find somebody else. But the thing is,
Yes.
there's no reason to want to see somebody else.
Mm.
And even if she didn't give me a reason and I met somebody else, I know she'd be okay. I mean, it might bother her a little bit if she found out about it, but she's the most emotionally mature person in the world. So this is my advice to your viewers. If you want to have a stress less, give your man the freedom to do his thing,
Mm.
but let him know that you require the same freedom.
Mm.
That if he's going to, you're going to do it too. And so you will be surprised how many times that will get the guy to not want to do that because he's
Mm.
afraid if he does that, then you're going to do it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So just don't hold on to somebody so tightly that you squeeze the love out of the relationship.
Mm.
And don't be checking phones, don't be, smelling his, checking his pockets and stuff like that
Mm.
to find something. If you have trust, and I trust my wife implicitly, I trust her without exception. And if you have trust, the relationship will last. If you don't have trust, the relationship will be stressful and probably will not last.
Yes, sir. And also, if there is no cheating, the relationship will long last forever. But if there is a cheating, it's very different. It will be changed.
And if you have an open relationship, there
Mm.
can't be any cheating.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
a relationship doesn't mean that he can go out and be like a chick boy and hopping from one woman to the other
Mm.
woman because that's physically unhealthy and unsafe. Because stuff you
Yes.
pick up from somebody else out in the street, you could take back to the woman
Mm.
who's living in your household.
Yeah.
It's got to be responsible. It can't just be going around sleeping with everybody and stuff like that. But just understand that monogamy is a relatively recent development in
Mm.
human history. That for most
Okay.
of human history, men had more than one person, and in many cultures, women had more than one
Yes.
person, and it was accepted. And so only recently have they started saying it must be one to one. And I got to tell you that men, as far as women are concerned, are not built to be with one person. Genetically, their mind has evolved
Mm.
over thousands and thousands of years to be with more than one person. So asking him not to be with more than one person is like asking a woman, don't have your period.
Mm.
She's
Okay.
genetically predisposed to have her period. He's genetically predisposed to be with somebody else. So if he's going to do that, let him know, hey, I can accept that. But be responsible. First of all, don't throw it in my face. Don't make it
Mm.
so obvious that it's going to make me feel uncomfortable. And also recognize that I'm going to have the freedom to do the same thing. And there's not a word you can say about it. I won't throw it in your face, but if you find out that I'm doing it, you can't say a word about it if that's what your
Mm.
program is, somebody
Yes.
else.
Yeah,
And so yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say
And
this.
that will
Hi. Okay.
I was just
Hi,
gonna say that
Lilibet and Channel. Hi,
that will
Lilibet. Okay. Okay, go answer. Mm.
I was just gonna say that will ensure a not only longer relationship,
Mm.
but a relationship with a lot less stress.
Yes. Because if you love someone, sir, you don't want to hurt them. Right.
Exactly.
Mm.
But at the same time, If you're in a relationship where you have an understanding,
Mm.
you do your best not to put in their face that you're with somebody else. But if they find
Okay.
they hurt a little bit, they hurt somewhat. If you've already had
So,
an understanding,
mm,
there's not much that you can do about them being hurt because they already knew
yes.
what the program was when they
Mm.
started.
Yeah, because if the man can do that, woman can do it also. What the man doing?
Exactly. And if he's doing it, there's not a word he can say about her doing it.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So, do you have any questions, sir, for me? You are free.
No, but one thing I would like to offer you, if somebody wants to learn more about the concept of what is called polyamory, just go
Okay.
online and put that in Google, and there's
Okay.
all kinds of information. Uh, there are people that exchange ways to have a happy polyamorous relationship and stuff like that. And it's just POLYAMOUAMOROUS,
Okay.
polyamorous, and they can learn about that. But I can tell you this: my wife and I are like
Mm.
one of the happiest couples you will ever meet. We tell each other we love each other every day. We tell each other maybe 10 times or more each day that we love each other. And it's more than 10
Okay.
times. Okay. And we show our love as well as speak our love. And
Okay.
if you want a successful relationship, do those things and you can achieve
Okay.
it.
Because, sir, I am a kind of woman. I am a kind of woman that if I love someone, I want only him. So I am faithful and honest to the person. I never do anything cheat or something. So, yeah, so for me, the one thing that I really don't like is cheating because I've never been cheat and I never been you mean I am faithful person. Okay, I am only stick to one.
I'm sorry,
Okay, I am only stick to one person. If I
you're
love
breaking.
that person, okay, I am only stick to one. If I love that person, it's just only me and no other else. Because
Right,
I only want only you to me and same what I did to you is same what you want to do me. So one stick to one
right.
together. Hmm.
And you
Yes.
should, and as long as you, and you should expect that from him. If that's what you want from him, is you should
Mm.
make it very clear that's how you are. And if we're going to be together, that's how you need to be. If you want to see somebody
Mm.
else, I have no problem with that. But you're not going to be in a relationship with me. So let them know that
Yes.
in advance.
Mm.
And let them know no second chances. No second chances.
But what
Because
about
typically,
sir if you know so late? And what about if you know so late? And then even if you cuff him on the act that he is living together with another woman, but he still denied.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Okay, what about if even if you cuff on the act, like I had a boyfriend, and then even if I cuff him on the act that he has another woman, or even they are living together, but he still denied. He said that no, we are not living together, and I am not in cohabitation or something. And you know that it's late that he has another woman.
Right.
Mm,
You're saying
yeah.
what's the question?
Okay, the question is, what's your opinion on that situation?
Well, in that situation, if you had an understanding with this person
Mm,
that you wanted to be in a one-on-one monogamous relationship, and he led
okay.
you to believe that he is, and then you catch him, and then he lies
Mm,
about it, instead of saying, "Yeah, you're right, I have been doing that. I'm sorry I didn't tell you." But if
Mm.
first of all, if he says he's sorry, okay, that's a plus, but it still doesn't mean you should stay with him.
Mm.
That's something you have to consider in terms of his other virtues, his other
Okay.
characteristics. But if he tries to lie his way out of it, you have to say next, next.
Okay.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, walk away, walk away.
Mm.
Get his stuff. If he's got stuff at your house and you are living in a place together, but it's your
Mhm.
place, get his stuff together and have it by the door,
Okay.
and let him know come over at this time and
Okay.
let me know when you're on your way.
Mm. Hello, hello, hello,
Way because I'm
hello.
going to put it out in front of the door.
Okay.
Did you hear that last part? Yeah, put his
No,
stuff
yeah,
out
get out of the
because
door.
he's a liar, he's a deceiver, and you caught him, and he's going to try and lie his way out of it. He's showing you he is a liar. At least the guy that
Mm.
said to you, "Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'm really sorry. I didn't want to tell you about it for whatever, whatever, what." You still may not
Mm.
want to take him back, but at least this
Okay.
is a guy that is willing to become to show some honesty. But if he's going to try and lie his way out of it, you're dealing with a guy who's a what we call a pathological
Mm.
liar. They lie so much
Okay.
that they begin to believe their own lies.
Mm. Okay.
So what did you do in that case? What did you do?
Okay, what I'm doing on that is stay away and stay away if it happened to me. Stay away and if you don't worth me, perhaps there will be another person who worth me and who value me in the future. Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm,
Because they're guys that I mean, you sound like you're a good woman. Okay.
mm,
Um, but as I tell many women back in the States, they used to say to me, You say you're looking for a good woman. What about me? I'm a good woman. But every good
mm,
woman is not necessarily good for a particular man. And
yeah.
every good man is not necessarily good for a
Mm,
particular woman. But the thing is that you seem like you have good values. You don't seem to be unreasonable. I don't know. You may be one of those crazy, jealous persons, or you may be one of those
yeah.
people with the hot temper.
Mm,
But I will say this to you: if you want to keep a man, uh, don't. If you have to get crazy, if you have to show off a really violent temper, then you don't need to be with that person. If somebody
mm,
brings those feelings out of you, then you don't need to be with that person. But
yeah.
if you just show those kinds of characteristics of being really angry for no reason,
Mm,
then you'd better step away from having relationships and start looking at yourself and examining yourself
yeah.
and begin making adjustments in your personality
Mm,
to the point where you can wait until you are ready. See, because just because you want a good relationship doesn't mean you're ready for a good relationship.
yes.
So if you're displaying, and you see, the problem with most people is that when they break up in a relationship, they tend to point the finger at the other person. They
Yeah.
did this and they did that and they did this. And they never ask themselves, well, what did I do? What could I have done that might have contributed to that person
Mhm.
doing this? So I say, so when you're pointing the finger, remember there are three fingers pointing right back at you.
Yeah,
Have you ever heard that?
exactly. Yes.
You know?
Okay.
And so,
Yeah.
so I say, when you break up, don't consider a breakup a failure. Consider it a learning experience because every relationship that you've been in prior to the one you got to when you were married
Mm,
were learning experiences that were preparing you for the person that you were supposed to be with. All those other people you weren't supposed to be with. You were just supposed to be with them long enough to learn some lessons.
okay.
So this person you had the experience with that you described with the other woman that he was with, he gave you a
Yes.
learning experience. And so Don't look at it like a failure, but as soon as the relationship is over, ask yourself, what may I have done that
Mm.
might have contributed to this? And you might, if you're honest with yourself, and the most important person for you to be honest with is you. Okay. If
Yes.
you can't be honest with you, then you are not going to be honest with anybody else. And
Yes.
so if you're honest with yourself and you can say, I, I, I don't think I really have done anything that contributed to this person going out being with this woman.
Yeah.
Then you say, so the next person I get together with, I'm going to continue being the same person I am because I think I'm good enough. May
Mm.
not have been good enough for him, but I'm good enough for the right person.
For the right person. Exactly, sir.
So
Okay.
yeah, and be patient. Don't rush, which is
Mm.
advice I give to you and your listeners. Don't let loneliness push you into a relationship you don't belong in.
Okay. Okay. So, everyone, thank you for coming on this live stream, and thank you to all the people who write their comments in the comment section. So, this is the end of my interview with Sir David Jack. And Sir, thank you so much for to be on my channel, and thank you so much for this interview, and thank you so much for the very good advice. It will open all of us on our mind about going on relationship. And I will not keep you longer because I know that you are very busy. Thank you for giving me a little time to be on my channel. I really greatly appreciate it. So wish you and your family the very best, and success, happiness, and well-being, and may God bless you. And so thank you, sir, and looking forward to meet you in person, because I really like to have, it's such a good, nice conversation and very good advice. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so sir,
Well,
thank you so
if you ever
much. Mm,
if you
mm,
ever want to have further discussion, if you ever want to have further discussion, I know that you need to cut this short, but if you ever want to have further discussion, you want to have me back, just feel free to give me a call.
okay,
I'm at your disposal. I
okay.
think you asked very good questions. You're very professional, and uh,
Mm,
and broadcasting actually was my original interest in life. I worked for American
okay,
Broadcasting Company back in the United States,
okay,
and I want to say
okay.
you've done a very professional job of
Thank you.
interviewing and conducting this broadcast.
Okay,
So I wish you the
okay,
best of luck, and may God always be with you.
okay. Thank you, sir, and bye, everyone. Thank you, thank you.